Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. For those of you that don't know me, my name's Forrest Johnson, and in this episode we're going to go over some of the camping options here in Redwood National State Parks. There's a few. It's a little different, so stay tuned. Okay, so here we are at the first visitor center that you'll encounter as you enter Redwood National State Parks. If you're heading north on Highway 101, this is the Kochel Visitor Center. It's going to be on your left-hand side. It's about a mile up the road as soon as you enter the park, less than a mile south from the town of Orick. And I would recommend you stop here because they get a great map. So I'll give you an overview here. It shows the entire map of the park. And what I like to do is I like to break it into two parts. So you got the Klamath River in the middle, and from there you got the southern part of the southern half of the park, and then from there you got the northern half. So that being said, we are right here at the Kochel Visitor Center. Now this is important to keep in mind because in the entire park there's only 4 developed campgrounds that you can choose from. So as we're here, you would travel north. There's 2 in the south. There's Elk Prairie Campground, and then there's Gold's Bluff Beach Campground, which is right on the beach. And then if you head north past the Klamath, you've got the Mill Creek Campground and the Jedediah Smith Campground, which is right there. So it's important to keep that in mind because there's only 4 of them, and you're going to have to plan your trip.
Along the Klamath.
Well, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Yeah.
Great. Got a few questions for you about camping, if you have a moment.
Okay. I hope I won't disappoint you.
I'm sure you won't.
Well, it's Memorial Day weekend, and so if you didn't have a reservation, you're out of luck.
It's gonna be tough.
Our backcountry is entirely full. All of our developed campgrounds are full.
Well, I'm on a motorcycle, so it's gonna be more a car camping kind of thing.
Yeah, it's still full.
Okay.
Because a motorcycle or a car is going to use the same spot, so it wouldn't make a difference whether you're in a car or a motorcycle.
I understand.
So the 3 state parks preceded the national park by decades. They were established in the 1920s. And so when the national park was finally established in 1968, they weren't going to compete with the state parks that already had an established campground system. It just made sense in the long run to co-manage the landscape. And so, yeah, these forests are benefited by the cooperation of federal and state agencies. And so if you want to camp here at Redwood National and State Parks, you would be in a state park campground. They're usually $35 a night, a little steep, but you'll need to reserve at least 48 hours in advance on reservecalifornia.com.
Do you have a map for me?
I do. I have a visitor guide, which, so if you want to impress a U.S. National Park Ranger, this is the classic national park map that you get. It's called the Unigrid. You can impress a ranger by saying, hey, can I have a Unigrid, please?
Nice.
And so this map here is actually the same map that you find in our visitor guide. The visitor guide map is actually a lot more useful because it doesn't just have the map and the locations. It has number-coded and color-coded recommendations. Short walks here, recommended scenic drives, and on the inside of
that's the same map that you've got out front here, too.
Exactly.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
I was just talking about that.
Yeah, and then right here on the inside of the last page are recommended longer hikes. So if you're more adventurous, that's the page you want to turn to.
Right, perfect. Well, that's perfect. And your name was?
Ranger Steve.
Ranger Steve. All right, Steve Krause here, Redwood National State Parks, the Kochel Visitor Center. Thanks for your time, Ranger.
Hey, no problem. Hey.
This is perfect.
So.
Wow, I really appreciate your time. So I'm going to go explore the park.
Oh, well, have fun.
All right.
I know that guy.
Full disclosure, I've known him for a long time. Okay, so So with all that said, let's take a look at one of the best camping options in the Redwoods. Elk Prairie Campground. Now, coming into this campground, whether you're in a car or riding a motorcycle like me, this campground's got it all for you. If you're planning on staying a couple of days and really diving deep into the redwood trails and you want to take that time to do that, or if you're just passing through and you want to pull over and explore the redwoods as you're going through, but you just need a place to stay. The key to this campground is planning. Now, it used to be that you could show up in late in the afternoon and kind of get what was left over. These days, that's getting harder and harder to do. Pretty much it's all done on reservations now. So you have to go online, and I'll leave a link in the descriptions on how to do that. But that's really the key to this, whether you're staying one night passing through or you're going to stay a couple of days to really enjoy the park. You really need to plan out your stay at this campground. Okay, so because I'm not actually able to stay here tonight, although I have stayed here many times, what I thought I'd do is I'd just give you a tour of what is available for you if you were to stay here. So over here to my right is the visitor station here for Prairie Creek, and that alone is worth coming to see. It was built in the 1930s, I believe. I'm gonna have to go check on that. 20s or 30s, somewhere in there. But it was built by the CCC, and it's all built out of old growth redwoods, and there's some really cool stuff inside. So what I'm going to do is we're just going to walk from the visitor center down the trails, and I'll show you what's available for you if you do decide to stay at the campground. And let's go for a walk.
Look out, it's Forrest in the forest.
Hey, Ranger.
Hi.
They know me around here. So this building behind me is the Visitor Center for Prairie Creek Redwood State Park, and it's really a cool building. It was built in 1933 by the CCCs, and for those of you that aren't familiar with that, that's the Civilian Conservation Corps during the Great Depression. And inside they got a great exhibit, and I would totally recommend you go in here and check out what they have to offer. I'm not going to spend any time in here, but I do want to show you the outside because I want you to explore it for yourself. By the way, it's entirely made out of old growth redwoods. And if you're familiar with the national park system, the architecture is quite distinctive and unique. And it's just really a cool place. All right, let's go on, head down to the trail and check out the campground. And one of the reasons why I like this place so much is for this aspect right here. If you're actually lucky enough to camp here, and all it takes is a little bit of planning, then you can come right up this trail here from the campground. And even if you're not camping here, you can come to this, by the way. But if you camp here, from this point on, all it does is lead to the campground. So basically, the trail we came on, pretty much, I mean, this is it. But what it does is it brings you into the amphitheater. And at certain times of the year, during the summertime, they have the campfire programs right here. And you can sit around the campfire, sit right here, warm yourself, and then you can have a seat in any one of these benches that are made out of old growth redwoods. Gonna last forever. And then you can come here and you can watch Ranger Steve if you're lucky enough. You can stay here and watch a campfire program at night on this big screen projector, which comes out of that building. And then when it's done, you just head on down this trail. You go back to your campsite. And that's why this is one of the best options in the Redwoods. Remember to plan. Bunch of alders all along the creek. These are red alders. I believe red alder is Alnus rubra. It's been a while since I've taken dendrology. Those Latin names, they're tough to remember. This is such a beautiful trail. Most people don't come down this way unless they're actually staying at the campground, so usually a lot less crowded. Wow, there's a nice looking tree. Whoa, look at the top. Sequoia sempervirens, ever living or everlasting. Look at how gnarly looking that top is. Looks like part of it broke out. Still alive. So by the way, not only was the visitor center built by hand by the members of the CCC, but most of the trail systems in this area were as well in the 1930s. Okay, so we're at the campground. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this little tour of Elk Prairie Campground and what's available for you if you decide to camp here. So I'm not going to actually walk through the campsite. I'm going to leave a link in the description on where you can find detailed photos of each of the campsites, each of the different campsites available that are here, and then you can make your reservations accordingly. So I'm going to head back up the trail over here to the picnic area, grab a little bite to eat, and then I got to head up the road and find someplace to sleep tonight because I can't stay here. Although I have many times, and it's great. So. Okay, had to pull over real quick. Just wanted you guys to see this. This is why they call it Elk Prairie. And this is one of the many reasons that make it one of the best options in the Redwoods for camping. Wonder if he's going to jump the fence. Certainly looks like it. And there he goes. That is a very, very large animal. Well, I hope you enjoyed our visit to Elk Prairie Campground. And if you did, give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment. I respond to each and every one. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you liked it, because there's more on the way. And if you do, we'll see you next time.